You are holding a device that gives you access to the entire history of human knowledge. You can travel anywhere. You can speak to anyone. You are, by all definitions, the freest human to ever exist. And yet, when you put the phone down, when the screen goes black, why does it feel like you are sitting in a cell? Why does the abundance of choice feel like a complex prison of analysis paralysis? We are obsessed with the idea of escaping. Escaping the 9 to 5, escaping the expectations, escaping our own heads. But here is the paradox of our age: we have broken the outer chains, only to find we have voluntarily swallowed the key. We mistake options for autonomy. We think that because we can do anything, we are free. But this is the lie that keeps us paralyzed. This is the moment to stop trying to escape, and start trying to understand the nature of the cage. Let me tell you a story. It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's about a bird. This wasn't a wild bird caught by force. It was born in the cage. For generations, the bars were its only definition of the world. The shopkeeper, for reasons unknown, decided one afternoon to do something different. He didn't just open the door, he removed the top. He broke the constraint. He dissolved the boundary. The bird was free. No walls. No ceilings. Just endless air. The shopkeeper waited. He expected a burst of feathers, a joyous chirp, a wild dash toward the window. He expected to see freedom. Minutes stretched into an hour. The bird didn't move. It didn't sing. Its small heart beat faster, yes, but not with excitement. With something far older. Terror. It looked at the open sky, a canvas of terrifying, uncontained possibility. And then, it looked at the familiar wood of the shop. Finally, the bird did not fly up. It did not fly out. It hopped back inside the cage, pushed the door shut with its beak, and curled up in the corner, pressing itself against the familiar, cold bars. The bird didn't forget how to fly. It forgot how to desire flight. The constraint was gone, but the emptiness was too vast to navigate. The freedom to do anything had resulted in the inability to do something. The paralysis of that bird is the central crisis of modern liberty. We often treat freedom as a single, uniform concept, but it has a dual nature. We must invoke the brilliant distinction of the 20th century philosopher, Isaiah Berlin. He categorized freedom into two types: negative freedom and positive freedom. Negative freedom is simply freedom from. This is the liberation that the shopkeeper offered the bird. It is the removal of the cage. It is the freedom from external interference. This is the freedom from the tyrant, from the restrictive law, from the controlling partner. In our digital world, this is the freedom to block, to mute, to unsubscribe. This is where we excel. We are obsessed with deleting constraints. But the bird proved that negative freedom is insufficient. You can remove all external obstacles, you can become the king of the empty shop, and still remain a prisoner of your own inertia. You can have freedom from anything, and yet have nothing. This brings us to positive freedom. This is freedom to. This is not the absence of a constraint, it is the presence of an internal capability. The bird had negative freedom to fly, but it lacked the positive freedom, the internal skill, the will, and the clear direction to make that flight meaningful. Here is where two great philosophical currents clash. Nihilism, the philosophy of nothing matters, says that since there is no inherent cage, you are absolutely free. But this is the freedom of a grain of sand, blown by every wind. But the philosophy of Sisu, a Finnish concept of grit and determination, and Stoicism would argue a different truth. They suggest that true freedom is not the absence of a burden, but the internal capability to choose which burden to carry. The wild ocean is negative freedom. The mastered ship, with a defined course, is positive freedom. This is the bridge from anxiety to action. This is where we reframe the very texture of your daily struggle. We need to stop fighting a war for negative freedom and start building our capacity for positive freedom. We are conditioned to think of any commitment as a cage. We don't want to choose a career, because it might close off other doors. We don't want to commit to a relationship, because it might limit our options. We are the bird, looking at the open sky and staying motionless because we refuse to choose one direction. But here is the reframing truth: true freedom is not found in the absence of constraints, it is found in the creation of meaningful constraints. A block of marble has absolute negative freedom. It could be a statue of a god, a fountain, or rubble. But it is only when the sculptor applies external constraints, the careful application of the chisel, that it fulfills its positive freedom to become a work of art. The sculptor limits the marble's potential to realize its purpose. Let's apply this formula. If we accept the philosophy of positive freedom, the true liberty is the mastery of oneself and the ability to pursue a chosen path. Then our constant anxiety about losing our options or not having enough time suddenly becomes irrelevant noise. Your anxiety is a symptom of having too many cages you didn't build, and not enough structures you did build. The person with 10 options is a victim of analysis paralysis. The person with one master skill and one clear purpose is, in fact, the only one who can navigate the open sky. The shopkeeper in our story did not fail. He simply demonstrated a fundamental truth: you cannot free a creature that has internalized its own bars. Your phone is not your cage. Your job is not your cage. The society is not your cage. Those are just the visible bars. The true cage is the fear that without an external authority, without a script, a schedule, or a trending topic to follow, you would be empty. That, like the bird, you would just sit there, paralyzed by the vastness of your own potential. True freedom is the terrifying, beautiful responsibility of becoming your own sculptor. It is not the escape from the structure. It is the choice of which structure to build.